he made $100 million, and he's his own boss. He can say and do what he wants to do, having a great team.
Yeah.
Because no one person can do it by himself. That was the core of the team.
Gotcha.
And it was a tremendous sacrifice, especially for me. I worked like 15 years straight, 7 days a week, 20 hours a day.
Wow.
That whole middle part of my life.
Yeah.
It didn't exist. It didn't exist.
And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed, or was it your own financial ignorance, and now you're bitter?
People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall, potentially.
You're right,
fall.
but when you call yourself the money man, you do it to yourself a little bit too.
No, I can't argue with that.
Leonard Ellerbe recently spoke out about the reports claiming Floyd Mayweather lost his $1.1 billion fortune, saying none of it shocked him. After years of working closely with Floyd, Ellerbe had seen firsthand the boxer's extravagant lifestyle and the huge sums of money flowing out. In his view, those expensive habits were a major reason behind the financial troubles that came afterward.
And from day one, what it is that, and they know, everybody laughed at me. They laughed at me. They said, "Oh, he just talking nonsense." I've been told.
Leonard Ellerbe says that once someone reaches the level of fame and success Floyd Mayweather achieved, criticism naturally comes along with it. According to him, the real challenge isn't dodging the negativity, it's knowing how to handle it the right way.
When you're on top, when you're at the top, you can expect criticism. It just comes with success, and it's all about how you handle things. And me personally, none of it's personal. None of.
Leonard Ellerbe suggests Floyd Mayweather had the chance to build a hugely successful business legacy. But making that happen would have taken sharper focus and smarter decisions made with the long run in mind.
Right.
But he was the first one that had a team surrounded by him, that our focus was the business and his focus was the boxing. And in turn, we built the brand, built Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And Floyd became his own boss.
Wow.
Logan Paul takes a shot at Floyd Mayweather Jr., saying he's still waiting on the $1.5 million he claims he's owed from that exhibition fight.
He's still waiting on the 1.5 from Floyd Mayweather. He made this video simultaneously with the beef with Le'Veon, and I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it isn't.
Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2. The fight nobody asked for except me. I need this because if Floyd wins, he can finally pay me my $1.5 million. I don't care about the legacy fight. I don't care that these men have a combined age of 100 years. I care that Floyd Mayweather, the best boxer alive, uses those same hands that made him 100 million to Venmo me my money. And Floyd, if you're watching this, win it and pay me back or I'm gonna send my goons after you. Gotcha. Hey.
I really don't know why I watched that. Yeah, listen, dude. Logan is, again, functionally a coward for not doing this. I was really excited for it, too. I couldn't wait. That was about to be content, son. But, I mean, okay, yes, I understand if he is under WWE contract, they're not going to allow him.
Eddie Atlas points out that a lot of the same people who once cheered for Floyd are now mocking him, seemingly enjoying what they see as his biggest downfall yet.
He was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, "Hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels." I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape made it.
Whack 100 argues that Floyd Mayweather is nowhere near broke, saying his true wealth comes from his peace of mind and his ability to brush off rumors and outside criticism about his life and career.
Right now,
What's that?
his peace of mind. When I send him things, like I send you things when it's pertaining to you, when he gets the time, he'll call me and he say, "Hey, Wack, what's that?" And I tell him, he said, that's nonsense. He said, well, as long as they trying to figure me out, they not going to be able to figure out what they need to do. And he continues to move. I will say this without saying too much, that I've seen him pass on some big deals based upon the business he already has on the table. But again, I've been to his home. I talk to him regular.
Paulie Malignaggi believes that if Floyd Mayweather Jr. had kept his financial dealings more private, few people would have questioned his fortune. Instead, his frequent flexing of wealth invited the public to look more closely at his finances.
How much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was, because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly. And they don't ask you for...
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you, well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely, they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral. Their kid is sick. Like, they guilt you.
A boxing commentator looks into the unexpected financial troubles surrounding Floyd Mayweather, a man who built his entire reputation on flaunting his massive wealth. Throughout his career, Mayweather worked alongside major names like Steven Espinoza and Showtime. Yet now he's pursuing a $340 million lawsuit against them over claims of unpaid earnings, while his longtime advisor, Al Heyman, isn't named as a defendant in the case. The growing pile of legal disputes keeps drawing attention. The commentator also points out that Mayweather's lavish spending may have contributed to his current situation, citing his huge collection of luxury cars, expensive jewelry, and a private jet.
We're going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay rent on a luxurious...
Costs linked to luxury homes, steep rental payments, and unpaid debts reportedly started stacking up, eventually leading to a string of legal battles. One Miami couple, who owned a condo leased by Floyd Mayweather, claimed he racked up close to $500,000 in unpaid rent. Reports say payments came in at first, but communication stopped once they tried to collect the remaining balance. Analysts argue that a mix of overspending, weak financial oversight, and relying too heavily on others for major money decisions ultimately created serious problems. They add that wealth and fame alone don't guarantee long-term financial security, and that even top athletes can face financial collapse if their money isn't managed the right way.
Represents the $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took.
Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri talk about how Floyd Mayweather ended up facing financial concerns despite earning massive amounts of wealth throughout his career. Malignaggi says it's hard to understand how someone operating at Mayweather's financial level could let such large sums slip through unaccounted for. He compares everyday luxury buys, like a Ferrari or high-end jewelry, to the sheer scale of money that passed through Mayweather's hands. While normal splurges might not matter much, the numbers tied to Mayweather's earnings were on a completely different scale. Algieri adds that during the height of Mayweather's career, losing track of revenue from just one fight could lead to major financial setback. Repeat that across several fights, and those missed amounts add up into costly mistakes.
There's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend 20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what? I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went with my friend to go check out a Ferrari he was gonna buy. I went there and I'm like, I got this in my account. I could buy this right now. You know, like that. You know, and I'm not saying that's smart. What I'm saying is,
your accountant must have loved you.
yeah, really. But what I'm saying is, I got good money for that when I sold it. I gotta be honest.
I'm listening.
The used car market came back at the time. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it could go like that, okay? That kind of money. But bro, $340 million? That's not Ferrari, but that's a lot of Ferraris, a lot of houses.
But Floyd had a lot of Ferraris. And that's the thing about Floyd. Like, yes, is that way too much money? Yes, that's a crazy amount.
Paulie Malignaggi draws a comparison to past cases, pointing to fighters like Mike Tyson, who suffered major financial losses due to poor management and people around him taking advantage. Both analysts stress that Mayweather's financial concerns didn't come out of nowhere years after his biggest paydays. Instead, they suggest someone may have recently flagged certain issues or started digging deeper into his financial records. Their conversation drives home the point that even boxing's biggest names aren't immune to money troubles, and that fame and fortune alone don't guarantee lasting financial stability.
More than one fight, multiple fights.
At the height of your career.
$340 million. There's nights where you didn't make that much money in a night.
But we heard about stuff like this with Mike Tyson back in the day. Yeah. Big money losses, people taking advantage of him, a number of different things. Now, all that being said and done, 10 years is the point. That is the major point of all of this. Because when you look about this now, 10 years, where does this come from? It makes me think that someone's gotten in his ear. And maybe, where does this come from out of nowhere? Is he going through the books now, 10 years later? No, of course not. Someone else is. Someone else is probably telling him, hey man, this is like this, this is like that. So you
think it did happen?
I don't know. I think someone, regardless of whether it happened or it didn't, that's
what I'm wondering.
Unless it's coming out of nowhere, unless he literally is just getting just
he's losing his mind because there's a lot of rumors about him losing money, right?
Losing money, being I don't want to say destitute, but the old saying, the money.
Boxing reporter Dan Raphael says he wasn't surprised by reports of Floyd Mayweather running into financial trouble after leaving the sport. According to Raphael, anyone who followed Mayweather's career closely could have seen this coming, given how openly he showed off his spending. His extravagant lifestyle was always on display, from private jets and luxury cars to lavish vacations and constant displays of wealth. Raphael points out that Mayweather lived on a level of excess most people couldn't relate to, and much of it played out publicly through interviews, videos, and social media.
The fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first class hotels or you're, buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't.
And Raphael further stresses that this kind of spending pattern can make financial trouble almost impossible to avoid. He argues that even for someone as successful as Floyd Mayweather, unchecked spending and a constant pull toward luxury living can slowly eat away at massive earnings over time. According to him, Mayweather's lifestyle involved non-stop high-end travel, expensive purchases, and a standard of living that demanded heavy ongoing expenses. Raphael sees this as a cautionary tale for athletes and public figures alike, showing that no amount of income guarantees protection from financial decline. In his view, excessive spending paired with poor long-term money management helps explain how Mayweather could end up under financial pressure despite earning record-breaking amounts throughout his boxing career.
40 million, it just didn't ring true to me, because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been, that type of money that they've helped him make, and the person that he's.
Analyst Fannin discusses Floyd Mayweather's recent legal moves, pointing out that after running into financial trouble, Mayweather has decided to take legal action against some of his former business partners. Fannin explains that despite reportedly earning over $1 billion during his undefeated boxing career, Mayweather now claims a large chunk of that money never fully made it into his own hand. The lawsuit targets Showtime and former network executive Steven Espinoza, with allegations tied to how his finances were handled, involving Al Heyman, Mayweather's longtime advisor. Fannin adds that even though Heyman isn't officially named in the case, Mayweather maintains that key people at Showtime, along with Espinoza, played a role in how his money was managed.
The TMZ. Let's get to the TMZ. Floyd Mayweather sues Showtime, saying, "I'm missing hundreds of millions of dollars." Floyd Mayweather Jr. says he made over $1 billion in earnings over his legendary career, but the 50-0 fighter claims all the money didn't make it to his bank account. He is now suing Showtime, claiming they played a big role in his ex-manager screwing him out of hundreds of millions of dollars. In the lawsuit filed by Floyd in California and obtained by TMZ Sports, Mayweather says he's gunning to recover hundreds of millions of dollars in the misappropriated funds and damages resulting from long-running and elaborate financial.
The lawsuit claims that earnings from major fights, including the bouts against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, were allegedly funneled into accounts tied to Al Heyman instead of going fully to Floyd Mayweather. It's also stated that when Mayweather's team later tried to access Showtime's financial records, they were reportedly told the documents were missing or no longer available, which only deepened concerns about possible financial irregularities. Fannin points out that this situation reflects the challenges elite athletes can face when dealing with such massive financial structures. He notes that depending on outside handlers, combined with weak oversight, can lead to significant losses over time. According to him, Mayweather's lawsuit aims to recover funds he believes were mishandled, while also exposing the complicated financial relationships between fighters, promoters, and media companies in professional boxing.
To see whether or not this is something that Floyd should have known about, or did know about, or maybe did not understand. Because it seems very, very funny that Floyd would not know that the money was getting paid to Al Heyman and not directly to him. Regardless, I don't know the outcome of that. I will talk about this though. The absolute blatant karma up in Floyd Mayweather's face for all the smack he talked about Muhammad Ali and how Muhammad Ali's name was only worth $50 million and he sold half of his name for $50 million and how he's made so much more money and that makes him all of that. Talked about how Muhammad Ali, I'm sure, or I don't know if he did, but I'd heard, talked about Floyd. Yeah, he did, because he talked about his money and how he had to sell his name because
Whack 100 says Floyd Mayweather stays calm and doesn't let public criticism or social media chatter get to him, especially since he doesn't personally run those accounts. He explains that a big portion of Mayweather's wealth is reportedly spread across different business structures, including trusts, companies, and investments, which can make his full financial picture harder for outsiders to see. Even if it doesn't always look that way from the outside, Whack 100 insists Mayweather remains financially secure and confident in where he stands. He also adds that for Mayweather, wealth isn't just about money, it's about personal fulfillment too. According to him, Mayweather values time with family, especially moments spent with his grandson, showing that his sense of stability and happiness goes beyond just financial success.
It's phasing him or get to him. He doesn't even control his social media. He doesn't see it. I'm telling you, he doesn't see it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's posting himself. He has someone that
he doesn't see it. He doesn't pay any attention. When I need something done, I have to send it through different channels for it to get done. But no, he's definitely not. I mean, we know that. He has tons of businesses going on. They were making accusations that he didn't own the things he owned. You're not going to find nothing in Floyd's name directly. You're not going to find, when you're dealing with that type of money and those type of situations, you know this, Vlad, it's set up. It could be a foundation, a trust.
Yeah, shell companies, corporations, LLCs, whatever.
I know some of these people that they'll say they own 40 different companies, but what it is, they're part of it.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for what's coming next time.